Today, we're talking about the man who snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Burnt on Religion, the podcast for those who have been burnt, who are currently burning, and those who are trying to avoid being burnt. I am Ashton, and I have my last two brain cells trying to fight for my attention. This is one, Rusty. This is the other one, Josh. Wish him luck.
Rusty,
I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, Rusty, when you said you did not miss Ashton. Welcome to my world. It didn't make any life easier on me. It just brought you into the suffering.
I could have stayed out of it.
Right. But no, you had to open your brain cell.
Mouth brain cell.
Ashton, I'm glad you're still feeling better.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Making sure I'm taking those vitamins now.
Yeah. Well, we are back with another fun topic today. Jephthah's daughter is who we're talking about. He honestly did do a good job of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
I mean, he had everything going for him. Made this deal with God. How many times have you guys heard sermons on this? How many times has this topic come up in your religious background? If ever.
Once that actually stood out in my mind.
The rest you aren't listening?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was taught totally out of context, but anyway.
Really?
It had more to do with the way it was taught about Jephthah honoring the fact that he, made this vow to God and blah blah blah.
Right.
But that was the whole precedence behind it. He, just that he honored it, and oh my God, look at the sacrifice he made in honoring. It
was a good thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a good thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, wow. So Jephthah was lifted up on people's shoulders in the sermon of this guy was great because he killed his daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No matter what, he held tight to his word.
My word is my bond sermons.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like let your yes be yes and no be no be type thing. It was one of those type things.
It's a good verse to plug in for my word is my bond sermon. Yeah. Did you get any fun stuff like that, Ashton?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Excuse me.
Have you ever heard Jephthah?
I have.
Okay, all right, good. So what were the sermons like for you? Did they just tell the story?
Pretty much. The traditional face value. This is what you get, and good luck. Here's the world.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
But
that was anticlimactic.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Did the sermon last any length of time, or was that it?
Hard to say. I was a child, had a attention span of a gnat. And
Right. You know more about gnats than I do. I don't know how long you can focus. So Jephthah's daughter. This one actually is a big controversy for people, and this one wasn't. This isn't a topic that people are struggling with a lot, at least not in the circles I grew up with. You just guy killed his daughter. No, that's a horrible story. Move on. That's what I grew up with. Was your understanding that the guy burns his daughter to death?
and that was it. Yeah, did he burn his daughter because he made the vow of sacrificing whatever comes out the door?
Yeah.
He held on to it.
Right.
And it was praised for holding on to it.
Right. Hey, way to keep your word, man. But there is that negative side of, but he did kill his daughter. He did burn his daughter alive. That's bad, right?
But he kept his word.
He's at least an honest man.
Yeah.
And that's the part we'll glorify, not the fact that he killed his kid. So what we want to do is we want to bring context to a story this time. Sometimes we bring context to an issue. Like the last week when we talked about... what we talked about last week? Giving your womb to God. Are you supposed to be unlimited pregnancies? Is that what you're supposed to do? Well, we brought context to a topic. This one is just a passage of scripture that could really use some help because there's a lot going on with it. So we're just going to have to read the story. We're just going to have to read the whole story here. So was Jephthah's daughter killed by her dad to honor his vow to God? That's the big question. That's actually the number one question this story poses is, did he really do that? Or is there a way that he didn't do that? Because God doesn't seem to look at him and go, shame on you. You're not supposed to kill your kids. He doesn't say that. There's nothing like that. So it seems like God condones his decision, whatever it was. So let's go ahead. Man, there's a lot of reading. Anybody want this? Or is it all mine?
You got this.
All right, that sounds like it's mine. All right, rock, paper, scissors. Listeners, just give us a second. We're gonna rock, paper, scissors. There's a lot in here.
Every time.
All right, so just to give everybody, maybe some people have not, they're not familiar with the story of Jephthah and his daughter. So let's go ahead and give you the story. It's not that long. It just seems like there's a lot of words on this page here. So Judges 11:29. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed through Gilead and Manasseh, and passed through Mizpah of Gilead. And from Mizpah of Gilead he advanced towards the people of Ammon. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed deliver the people of Ammon into my hands, then it will be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the people of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. Okay, so there's his vow right there.
That's a dumb vow.
That's a dumb. Yeah, like I don't know what's coming, but it's all yours. So whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the people of Ammon. So so there's a deal here. God, I have to be returning in peace. That means I get the victory in this squabble that I'm going to have with these people. If I win, then whatever comes out of the doors of my house when I get home, I will, and this is what it says, it shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. Okay? So then in the next few verses we see that God gives him the victory. Yay. Jephthah wins, and then he gets home, and then we continue. Verse 34.
Okay.
When Jephthah...
Okay. It's not like a cow's going to come out of there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if he had cows in his house. But it could have been...
The family dog. The wife.
Yeah, it could have been. Either way, the truth is, the question is this a stupid vow? We're not refuting that.
No.
This is a stupid vow, okay? So we don't have a lot of defense for Jephthah here.
No.
That's just dumb. But he did it. He said it, and God did give him the victory. Okay? So he gets home. One thing led to another. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's jump back in here. Verse 34. When Jephthah came to his house in Mizpah, there was his daughter coming out to meet him with timbrels and dancing, and she was his only child. Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he tore his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You are among those who trouble me. Poor kid.
I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, like, look what you did. So,
Come back in the house.
For I have given my word to the Lord, and I cannot go back on it. So she said to him, My father, if you have given your word to the Lord, do to me according to what has gone out of your mouth, because the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the people of Ammon. So she goes, hey, whatever you said, go ahead and do it. Like, well, we should talk, dear. Guess what I did? Verse 37, Then she said to her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, that I may go and wander on the mountains and bewail my virginity, my friends and I. So he said, Go. He said, Go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her friends and bewailed her virginity on the mountains. And it was so at the end of the 2 months that she returned to her father, and he carried out his vow with her, which he had vowed. She knew no man, and it became a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went 4 days each year to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gilead. The end. Good night, kids. Yeah, so that's your bedtime story right there. That's the whole story. So we can see things aren't looking favorable for Jephthah. One thing, let's dismiss the conflict on this part. Was Jephthah stupid? Yes. Okay, there we go. We all agree?
Yes.
Yeah, 100% unanimous. That was a stupid vow. But he did make it. He comes home, and his daughter comes out like, You are a problem, girl. Wow, look what you've done. You're one of the people that trouble me. What did she do? She just came out to meet him with timbrels and dancing. She's celebrating. Dad's home.
Oh, maybe she went for that liberal arts degree or something.
Huh?
Came out dancing. I don't know.
Oh, well, Ashton's back. But it is controversial. You know, you look at the story, it's controversial. You know, so yeah, I mean, just read that. Look at that scenario. Like, God, if you let me have the victory, I'll go home and what was the vow? Let me give the actual words here. Whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the people of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering.
Well, I mean, when in saying that, what's going to come out to meet you? Your family or your dog?
Yeah.
Hopefully, your dog.
Little lassie comes running out.
You should whistle as you're approaching the house.
So, you know, best case scenario, Fido gets it, you know.
But we are talking from a Western culture
Sure.
experience too. It's not going to be your cat because your cat owns the house, you know. So you're coming to meet the cat. The cat's not standing up to meet you. It's probably going to be your dog or a family member. But in that culture, what door of the house is he talking about? Is it the gate? Is it the which door of the house? Is it where the livestock is? Could a sheep be coming out of the door of his house? We think of it as a house like, you know, where we live. In this culture, this is in the time of Judges, where there's no king in the land. There's no, I mean, it's not really a nation. I mean, it's the nation of Israel, but it's not really. We have our cultural norms. You know, so I don't know what the house would look like, but he apparently thought that was a good idea. Like, for me, I'm thinking it's either going to be the dog, my wife, or the kids. You know, which one would I like to offer as a burnt offering to the Lord? And then you get home and like, oh my goodness, why didn't you send the dog out? You're one of the people that trouble me. So
I meant the other one. The other one needs to come out.
But he does. He makes this vow to God. He tells his daughter, you trouble me. You're one of the people that brought me low. And she goes, why, Dad? Because I promised God something. And you're like, well, whatever you promised, keep your word. Well, honey, come here, sit on my lap. I got to tell you something. I said whatever came out of the door of the house, I would offer to the Lord as a burnt offering. And she goes, well, can you give me 2 months to cry about it? Sure. Go ahead. Take your 2 months. Go ahead and take 2 months off, and when you get back, I'll fulfill my vow. And then it says when she got back, he fulfilled his vow. So this is a problematic passage.
Yeah.
And I was taught, we didn't talk about this passage too much because it's horrible. It's not just Jephthah was stupid. It's the poor girl in the situation. Nobody gets the girl in the end of this story. You know, it's just a sad story.
Well, God gets the girl.
Yeah, that's true. God did get it.
I don't think that cleans it up much, Rusty. I'm going to send you to Jesus. Okay, so let's stir the pot a little bit more, make it a little more complicated here. I'm going to throw out a couple of verses here. Leviticus 18:21, and you shall not let any of your descendants pass through the fire of Molech, nor shall you profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. The fire of Molech, what that was you had a statue of Molech. He's like a bull, you know, a god, and he has his hands out, and there's a fire between the hands of Molech, and it would heat those hands up, and people would put their babies in those red hot hands, and they would sacrifice their kids to Molech. That was that was in Israel. That was a pagan culture. Solomon ends up getting involved in that with his own children. You know, he ends up, you see the Israelites getting involved in that practice. They dabble in it. So God says, hey, by the way, don't do that. Then in Deuteronomy 12:31, it says, you shall not worship the Lord your God in that way. For every abomination to the Lord which he hates, they have done to their gods. For they burn even their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. God is clearly opposed to human sacrifice. There's not a lot of verses where you go, yep, he likes that. He's into that here and not into that there. No, he is very opposed to human sacrifice. It says that human burnt offering is an abomination to the Lord in Deuteronomy there. So, got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do with that? If he's not, I mean, if God knew that Jephthah was going to offer his daughter as a burnt offering if he won, why did God give him the victory? Well, give the victory to somebody else. You know, so I'm asking you guys, you just got to do something with that. Yeah, what do you do there? I mean, it does. I mean, you can see why people have a conflict over this this story.
I feel like something's missing. Something.
Context?
Sir.
Never.
Sir.
Can't be context. Something's always missing. Always happens to be the same thing. Context. So, not only is Jephthah here in this story making a stupid decision, he ends up honoring his vow. He ends up following through with this vow. And then look at what it says in Hebrews 11:32. And what more shall I say? This is talking about the faith of these people that live by faith. By faith, Noah, by faith, Abel, by faith, Enoch. That's the faith chapter, Hebrews 11. They call it the Hall of Faith, where all these people are honored by their faith. And then it gets to verse 32. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, and David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice. Oh, sorry, I might have read that 3 times there.
Yeah, okay.
Obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions. So God honors Jephthah in Hebrews 11. Okay, so traditionally what we have is Jephthah says, hey, if you win, I'll hook you up with the burnt offering. The first thing that comes out of my house. God, who is all-knowing, goes, I accept that deal. he knows what's going to walk out of the house. He goes, I accept. Here's the victory. She walks out of the house. He goes, oh man, now I got to offer her as a burnt offering. So he does it. Traditionally speaking, he does this, and God honors him in Hebrews. Look at the faith. Look at the faith of Jephthah. So why does the Bible speak so highly of a man who killed his own daughter? It's just problematic to me. It's problematic.
It's just problematic.
But you guys grew up with the same thing, right? He killed his daughter?
Yeah, and that's what I was taught. Is he killed his daughter.
Did any of us ever question that?
No.
I mean, I questioned the
All
morals.
the time.
I questioned God's morals. I did that. Like, I don't think that was right.
No, I was pretty much running down the road that the pastor knew what he was talking about, and this is what Scripture says.
Right. So I mean, why would the pastor leave you wrong?
Why would I question it?
Right. Yeah. So Jephthah made a stupid vow. Let's just lock that one in for the whole
Reinforce that a little
episode.
bit.
Yeah, let's go. That was stupid of him, okay? But the fact that God allowed it to go on, why would God allow it to go on? If you know it's human sacrifice, and you've already stated in Leviticus and Deuteronomy that you got a problem with that. Not only do you have a problem with it, but you call it an abomination. It makes him sick. You know what's going to walk out of that house, being God. Mm-hmm. And Jephthah's like, hey, first thing that comes out, I'll give it to the Lord as a burnt offering. And God's like, yeah, I know what's coming out of that house. I'll take that deal, and I'll raise you a victory. So he gets the victory, and then, I mean, that's it. That's it. Stupid vow. We're going to lock that in for the rest of the episode right here. That was dumb. We don't even have to say it again. That was just stupid. You're an idiot. Yeah, so we've got a vow here. It's a stupid vow, but the vow being stupid or not is not what we're debating here. That's not it. What we're trying to resolve is whether or not he offered his daughter as a burnt offering or not, because that looks very clear to me. Mm-hmm. That he says, hey, I'll give it to the Lord and offer it. Not only will I give it to the Lord, that's not what it says. It says, I'm going back, whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the people of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it as a burnt offering. So she's toast.
Yeah, you're not helping this case at all.
No, it just sounds like that's what happened. So it does say that he carried out his vow. So let's read the vow. When we look at the vow, when we read the vow, it just seems simple. She's going to come out of the house to meet him. She will surely be the Lord's, and I will offer her up as a burnt offering, since we know it's her that walked out of the house. there's not a lot of debate here, but we're going to make a debate. We're going to, is that your last witness? Yes, that's my last witness. You sit down and I yield. I yield, to my opponent. Now the next lawyer steps up and we see the other side of the debate. Okay, so for those of you that are listening and saying, please give us the verse that shows that Jephthah did not kill his daughter, we've got a little bit of bad news for you. There isn't a single verse that says she was not killed. So we don't have that.
Well,
We don't have that evidence in front of us, so we're not going to do that. But we do have a strong argument that says that she wasn't. We don't have a verse that says she wasn't, but we do have context. We do have context that kind of points away from it. So this might be the first time you've ever heard this. So I thought she was toasted. I thought she was burnt.
It's sounding bleaker and bleaker as we go.
Yeah. So we do have strong argument for this. We have two strong arguments for this. So we have two pieces of evidence. The first one is the word "and."
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Please don't be my lawyer. Please don't be
Oh, okay. I can sleep at night now. Ashton. Now that you said "and," yeah, that cleans it up a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Waited 10 years of my life for that.
I don't know what to do with him, Rusty. Rusty, I feel like I want to make him your responsibility.
Mine?
Yeah, but you're the one that didn't miss him, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
still bringing that up.
I was going to say, he's beating that one.
That's all I got. Yeah. But no, it's not all I got. I also have the word "and."
Okay.
Yeah, so we do have the argument of the word "and," which, by the way, thanks, Ashton, because that sounds really stupid now.
Just like the vow.
Yeah, it's just like the vow. Man. All right.
Please continue. I'm sorry.
I don't know that I want to, but I feel like we need to for context's sake.
Let me get that coffee swallowed before you.
Yeah.
I'll look over next time.
We do have the word "and," and he goes, no. All right, so we have the word "and," okay? And we're going to use it too. So in Judges 11:31 is where this is, and it's typically translated as the word, guess what? And. That's how it's typically translated. And it's the Hebrew word W-A-W, and when I read that, I'm thinking, wow. Is that how you pronounce W-A-W? It's not wow, but maybe wow? I don't speak Hebrew, so I don't know how to pronounce it. But that Hebrew word has a very flexible meaning. It either means, there's several meanings for this, several ways you can translate this. You can translate it as the word "and," or, "but," "now," "then," "so," "even," or "indeed."
Okay.
Yeah, so we have options. So, wow. So it can mean "and," which is how it was translated in our versions of the Bible, but it can also carry the disjunctive sense of "or." It can carry the word, be translated as "or," and that's only when there's two outcomes that are opposing each other, but are possible. So when you have go to bed or get a spanking, see that "or" says, okay, we've got options. So it's like go to bed and get a spanking. We probably wouldn't do that because the kids are really, I'm not going to bed because if I go to bed, I get a spanking. We wouldn't say go to bed and get a spanking. Because there's two options and they oppose each other, we would use the word "or." Well, this Hebrew word W-A-W can be used either way. It can be used as an "and," or an "or." Yeah. So the Hebrew construction here allows for a conditional sense. So it can be, oh wait, there's a condition here because we have two things going on. So we can translate that "or." Now the English translators did not translate that as "or," but that would have been a good idea. That would have been helpful. So whatever comes out of that door, whatever comes out of the door of my house, it shall be the Lord's and will be offered up, can be read this way. If a person, then it is devoted to the Lord. If it's an animal, then it will be offered as a burnt offering. Because he says, whatever comes out, it shall be the Lord's, and the word and could be or. It shall be the Lord's, or I will offer it up as a burnt offering.
Either way, she's a disappointment to her dad.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't take that away. Remember, it was a stupid vow.
That poor girl.
Yeah, the poor girl. She just let her dad down. Yeah, by walking out of the house. So it's not a good day for her. So how do we know if the word should be seen as and or though? You know, we do have it translated as and, which is a good translation of the word and, but or is also a good translation of the word. It's just we have a conditional sense here. If it's if the daughter walks out, then I'll dedicate her to the Lord. If an animal walks out, then I'm not going to dedicate a cow to the Lord. Burnt offering. You know, so I can cover, no matter what comes out of the door, I'll take care of it. So how do we know if it's an and or an or? Let's use context. It's not stupid, Ashton.
Okay.
And is a good defense. Because we have context, and that's what we do on this podcast, is we bring things home to context. So context is the second argument we have. The first argument is the word and, which is not a stupid argument, Ashton, but it's the other argument is we do have context. So the context we have is refuting the idea that he offered her up as a burnt offering. Didn't have to happen that way. Death is never emphasized through the whole story. Okay, when we read the story, death is never emphasized, ever. We never read the word death. So we have to assume that it's death. We have to impose that on the scripture. What is emphasized is the consecration to lifelong virginity. The narrative highlights her bewailing or mourning her virginity. That was it. Let me go bewail my virginity for 2 months. She didn't say, let me go mourn the fact that my dad's going to burn me on an altar. Let me go cry about that for a couple months.
She went back home.
Yeah, and then she came back home because she believed your word is your bond, Dad. So here I am, and go ahead and burn me alive. What she's mourning is her virginity, not her life. We didn't see death brought up, but we do see this virginity. That's what she's bewailing or mourning. So we have this. The passage concludes with the outcome. At the very end of the story, we do get to see the outcome of this. In verse 37. Verse 37. Is that where we're at? Let's start at verse 37. It's in verse 39. It says, then she said to her father, let this thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, that I may go and wander on the mountains and bewail my virginity, which means mourn her virginity, my friends and I. So he said, go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her friends and bewailed her virginity on the mountains. And it was so at the end of the 2 months that she returned to her father, and he carried out his vow with her, which he had vowed. And then it says, she knew no man. So she knows her dad. So we know that's not what the word knew meant. It's the same word knew when Mary, Mary, Gabriel comes and talks to Mary and says, you have a child, and she goes, how is it possible that I would be with child since I don't know a man? I've never known a man. That's talking about having sexual relations with a man. Sure. So at the end of this thing, it says, oh, and by the way, she never had relations with a man. Why are we even discussing that in this story where this guy burns his daughter alive? Why are we bringing up that she mourns her virginity, and then it says, oh yeah, and then she mourns her virginity, and then closes it out with, she never had sexual relations with a man? Why? This seems to be, it's such a violent story. Why are we making it so personal for her?
Well, I mean, if your dad sacrificed you and torched you, yeah, she probably didn't have a chance to know a man.
No. It's
they
true.
kind of took her out of the running as soon as,
right.
she ended the sacrifice.
Right. So, but the emphasis on the whole story is her virginity, not her death.
Yeah.
It's not her death. If the point were her death, I think we'd expect a lot more of death talk.
You would think.
And he prepared an altar.
Yeah.
something like that. He prepared an altar and tied his daughter up, like you see Abraham and Isaac's story.
Yeah.
You know, we know that death was the outcome of that story, or that's what Abraham thought it was going to be.
Sure.
So we see death there, but in this, no, we're going to focus on her virginity. That's what we're going to focus on instead of death, in a story that really seems to be pointing to her death, at least traditionally speaking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, now it all makes sense. But, of course, even back then, like, that was a very high standard for women, was to
Yes.
be virgins.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you weren't before you were married or was given off to be married, I mean, that brought a lot of shame and guilt towards the family.
If you didn't have kids.
Well, if the daughter wasn't a virgin.
Oh yeah. That you've got commands in the law about that. That's a
Yeah.
big no-no. So also genealogy. Having children was a status thing.
Well, in Hebrew culture, isn't genealogy passed through the mother anyway?
It's on both sides,
Right,
like
both
the Mary
sides.
and Joseph, but you get both. Both sides. But I mean, it's the father. The father. You get all the begats. If you want some good bedtime reading, you go to the begat passages.
yeah.
So and so begat so and so. So and so begat so and so. It's usually the dad, and then the child.
Gotcha.
But still, no husband involved here.
No.
There's no begats.
No.
No begats in this story. So the commemoration of Jephthah's daughter, it fits the idea of a dedication to the Lord, not a burnt offering to the Lord. So that's where that word "and" is so important.
Should have led with translation.
Right. Yeah, but I didn't. I said "and," and you're like, ah. So why is nobody filling out?
Presentation.
Why is nobody filling out applications for this job that we are clearly offering here on Burnt Our Religion? We do need you for some reason. It's how we run around here.
I do payroll. So.
Wait a second. Have you received a check, Rusty?
Not at all.
Neither have I.
I didn't say your guys' payroll.
Oh, who are you paying for the work we're doing?
You know what's great? Context. Let's keep that.
You're gonna need some of that.
Change the subject.
Yeah. So there's the ladies of Israel. The ladies of Israel. In the end, there's a commemoration every year. For Jephthah's daughter. It's the idea. It seems to fit the idea of dedication better than burnt offering. It seems to fit that better. It says Judges 11:40 says that the daughters of Israel went 4 days each year to lament the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite. So they are mourning. They are mourning the daughter of Jephthah, but that doesn't mean they're mourning her death. They could be. I mean, it could just be mourning her virginity, just like she was, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, because she's given up quite a bit. She's never going to have a family.
No.
Jephthah, that was his only. If I remember right, that's the only child.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no chance for his family to go.
It's over.
It's over. It's done with.
Yeah. You just killed your family line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, Jephthah. You won the victory. So, no grandchildren. Okay. Yeah. So you can see why Jephthah's mourning when his daughter walks out.
Sure.
Because it's the word "and" that's so important here that it could mean "or." So the first thing that walks out of my house, I will either dedicate to the Lord or I will use as a burnt offering. If it's a human, you're not going to use that as a burnt offering. You just, because that would be an abomination to the Lord. Why would you honor the Lord with something that's an abomination to the Lord? But if you look at that Hebrew word, it could been translated in English as "and" or as "or." And since there's an option in the, they're opposing things there, you can just say, well, it should have been "or." It's this or that, not this and that. It's like to go to your bed or go to bed or get a spanking. Your kids will understand that better than if you say go to bed and get a spanking. Like, I think I will not go to bed because I don't want the spanking. So that's how we have to look. We have to look at it within the context, and it's important to get that word study in there too on this, because otherwise, when we're reading it with our English eyes, it just means, oh, you gave it to the Lord for a burnt offering. So if a human walks out, that's the deal. If a human walks out, they're devoted to the Lord. If an animal walks out,
Toast.
Yeah, that's right. We're making toast. So you got a burnt offering there. And the context points to a consecration or a setting apart for the Lord. So my daughter will be set apart for the Lord, not used as a burnt offering for the Lord. And it does allow for both. The mourning throughout the whole story is over her virginity, not her death. So you would think the emphasis would be on the death, if that's what was happening. And Rusty, you already brought it up, but the other piece of evidence is the fact that God does include Jephthah's descendants in the story, or the lack thereof. Yeah, verse 34 says, when Jephthah came to his house at Mizpah, there was his daughter coming out to meet him with timbrels and dancing, and she was his only child. Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. So why did God drop that piece of information in there? So we can see the sacrifice that Jephthah made. This is the end of our family line. Nobody on this planet can trace their genealogy back to Jephthah.
Nobody else carry on that family line.
Right.
Yeah.
He ended his story. And when she walks out of the house, he's like, my heart's crushed. Because in that culture, having children was it was a status thing. Goes, I have no status because I have to let her know, sorry, you don't get to have a family. And she honored that with him, which kudos to her.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's good for her. But Jephthah, like, why didn't you tell God you'd have him over for tacos or something? Dad, why did you make this vow? Because I made a stupid vow, and it was a stupid vow. So without her, the family line's over, and Jephthah knew it. She walks out, and what do they mourn? Her virginity, because there's no children. There's no more children in Jephthah's line. That's it. That's over. So God never condoned human sacrifice in this story, and Jephthah never had to kill his daughter in this story. It doesn't have to happen either way. So what we do have is Jephthah's daughter being devoted to the Lord. Same way Hannah and Samuel. Mm-hmm. Samuel is offered to the Lord. Hannah says, if you'll give me a child, I'll give him back to you. Mm-hmm. And Samuel ends up being a judge. A judge. Yeah. Or he's in the time of judges too, or a priest. But he's the Lord's. I'm giving this kid back to you. That's what Jephthah is doing here. He's saying, hey, God, if you help me win this victory, whatever walks out that door. He doesn't say, I'll dedicate my daughter to you. He doesn't say, I'll burn the fatted calf for you. He just says, hey, whatever walks out the door, I'll go ahead and hook you up with that, God. And it ends up being his daughter. So the best reading of the details is that she lived consecrated to the Lord, set apart for the Lord, remaining unmarried, no kids. It's tragic. Mm-hmm. That's why there's mourning involved in the story, but it's not gory anymore. If you look at the context, Jephthah does fulfill his vow, but it's not what we all grew up. It's not the cool Sunday school story we had. It's not as horrible as that. Because why did God stand by and watch that? Why did he allow that? And then honor him in Hebrews.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
No. But if you do the whole dedicated to the Lord thing, still a little bummed out for him. Since he was bummed out. So his daughter. His daughter's like, thanks for making me a part of this, Dad.
Yeah, but the whole human sacrifice thing, I mean, like I said, you go knocking it back. Scripture definitely does not support,
ever.
Not when it comes to Yahweh, not at all.
Nope, he does not support human sacrifice. So in this context, it seems, or in this story, it seems like he does. But once you plug context into it,
it kind of changes. Well, I mean, it definitely changes from the way like I said, the way I was taught it, yeah, I mean, you walk out with that bomb drop. Yep, he sacrificed her to the Lord. Yeah, she ended up dead, charred on an altar.
Yeah.
Over with. It's like,
Yeah.
it just, it didn't fit right. It didn't feel right.
No. And then you got the argument of, well, God must condone human sacrifice because he did tell Abraham to offer his son Isaac, right? But follow the story on. The human was never sacrificed.
No,
there's no human sacrifice there.
And yeah, in that instance, I mean, God stopped. Literally, it put a stop to that. And more of a test of faith.
Yes. Yeah. He sees that God says, "I see that you would not withhold anything from me, not even your own son."
Well, I mean, even in that, you kind of got the same type of thing almost here, where he honored it, she honored it. Knowing that their lineage and everything is sacrificed in that.
Right.
But you got the kind of the same type of picture.
Yeah, he did not withhold anything, even his own daughter. Yes, it's true. But the one thing we do, and we read it with our Western eyes, which are the smartest eyes of all time.
Oh boy.
Air quotes. We need air quotes for that one, yes. We miss so much context when we just look at the words on the page and go, okay, yep, guy toasted his daughter. Next story. You're like, really? You want to dig into that a little more? Why is he mentioning the virginity so much? Why does God mention the virginity so much in the story? Why does he mention that there's no other kids? And this is the end of Jephthah's line. Why is she not mourning the fact that she's going to get killed by her dad? No, she's mourning her virginity. It all plugs into she was dedicated to the Lord, not burnt on an altar to the Lord. So, yeah, it's not as bad of a story. It's still awful. Still stupid, Jephthah. But it's not as gory. And it doesn't go against the character of God.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was going to say that's the main thing right there.
Right. So, Jephthah's daughter. Hopefully that clears it up for people. But that's what we got. That was just to put a story back into context. And there's a few of those. We did that with Jonah. Remember we did that with Jonah and the whale, which, by the way, that got a lot of feedback. The Jonah and the whale thing. They're like, no, Jonah never died. And if you never heard that, spoiler alert, that's what we talk about. Did Jonah die or not? But people are like, I believe he lived. Like, that's fine. We don't have to end a friendship over that. We don't have to end a friendship over this. It's just when you look at the context of a story, it tells you more about the story than just that guessing. So there's a lot of virginity talk for a human sacrifice. It doesn't seem to fit the story.
And I mean, bad thing about because I can read, because I mean I did it myself. Reading this, your mind's already filling in the blanks with your own culture, your own, like you said, you were looking at it with Western eyes.
Right.
Yeah, this wasn't the West. This wasn't our culture. This was none of those things. So without those, you don't get context unless you start digging for the context of it.
Right. And you don't have to dig a lot. A lot of the stuff's right on the page. Yeah. Actually, what we found out through the years is most of the stuff is right on the page.
Read to the next verse.
Yeah, just look around a little bit and you will see it's right there. But we make things something it's not all the time.
Sure.
And it's just remarkable. Religion, it's not about religion, it's about relationship. So make sure you keep the Bible in context and don't fall for all the religious teaching. You go for scriptural teaching, which requires context. So Jephthah, bad move, dude. Bad move. But at the same time, at least he could still hang out with his daughter for the rest of his life, realizing that was the end of his family line, and still enjoy his daughter's company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not as awful as it sounded, but it's still tragic, but it's not.
And not commit an abomination trying to keep a vow to God.
Yeah. If I told God, you think about it. If you say, hey, God, if you'll help me win the lottery, I'll kill my entire family tonight. And God's like, deal. Yeah, there's no way. There's just no way God's going to give me that lottery. Yeah. It just goes against his character. Why would he honor that?
Commit a sin to stop you from committing a sin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be God's character.
What's that look for?
You know, nothing.
You get a lot of those, and you're on my side. When you're on my side of this world, of the Ashton's out to get you, you get a lot of those looks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Rusty, at least it's good to have a friend on this side.
It is.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah. Well, if you have any questions on Jephthah's daughter or any other topic, and by the way, thank you for writing in on the different things. Last week we hit a topic that was asked for by a listener. We appreciate it when you write in and bring these topics up, because there's so much religion that makes people say, I'm never going to church again. Why would I want to be religious? I can be judged in Walmart. I don't have to go to church for that. Sit there for an hour and be judged. A lot of that shame-based stuff, we don't condone sin. Sin should never be condoned. But at the same time, you don't have to shame-base people. Use shame-based teaching to get people to turn around. It's the goodness of God that compels us. It's the goodness of God that draws us to repentance, not shame-based preaching. So as far as Jephthah's daughter goes, yeah, that one's toast. Sorry. Hey, how did you?
You were just.
Yeah. All right.
I'm thinking burnt toast.
Yeah. So Jephthah's daughter's put back in context. If you disagree with us, write to us. Talk to us about it. If you agree with us, write to us. Talk to us about it. If you got something else you want to talk to us about, write to us. Let's talk about it. Let's make it an episode. Like, follow, share, subscribe. What else do they do?
Smash.
I think he's just pulling out adjectives now.
I'm not a cool kid. Yeah.
So, also, if you do want to write to us, write to questions@burnt-on-religion. Let's make it a conversation. Let's talk to you. If we can't make it an episode, we at least want to address that with you personally. So, write to us, and let's make this a thing. Also, thank you for sharing this with everybody. Mm-hmm. That's how we get it around. We don't pay for advertising. We don't get paid ourselves. We're just trying to put the scripture in context. So yeah, Ashton, we're gonna go. Let's go talk to Ashton about this. We're going to human resources about our lack of paycheck, sir.
I don't know what the problem is.
The lack of paycheck.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
that is a problem.
Yeah. I'm glad to have somebody on my side. We're going to go talk to human resources. So you have a great week. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.